Hello and welcome to Kroger Field. Well, Tennessee just took down Kentucky 33-27 to get its first road win of the season. I'm Sylvia. This is Noah Taylor. We're with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network, and we just got done talking with head coach Josh Heupel and a handful of players. So let's jump into our takeaways from that press conference, and then also what we saw unfold here on the field as Tennessee was able to hold on to that elusive road win. Starting with you on the offensive side of the ball, what was your takeaway?
I think it's the receiving game. I think you're starting to see it kind of gel together, maybe look a little bit more like what we maybe expected it to look like this year. We knew it was going to be a tall task for some of these guys, even with some of the veterans you had, like Ramel Keaton coming back. Brew McCoy's played a lot of football. Obviously, he's out for the year now, but you kind of expected them to take a step back after what they did last year, but still be pretty good. It's taken a while, but you go back to that first half of that Alabama game, and they were kind of hitting on all cylinders there in the first half. Then tonight came up with some big plays in that game, some clutch catches down the stretch. Dante Thornton, a guy we've kind of been waiting for, only had 3 catches, but they were all 3 very valuable for Tennessee. So I think we've kind of seen that group come together and play a lot better and do it in 2 critical games. Obviously, last week the second half collapse, kind of overshadowed what they were able to do, but tonight that receiving game was huge.
Joe Milton played well. Receivers stepped up when they needed. But really what made this offense go was the run game, and it all started with Jalen Wright. At halftime, he was averaging, I believe it was 18 yards per carry. I think it was 90 yards on 5 rushes, which is absurd. Finds the end zone on a 53-yard rush to get this that first drive going, get Tennessee on the board. And it looked like they were going to continue to ride him. He got 6 carries in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden it was Jabari Small in the game. And it was Dylan Sampson in the game. And it was a little confusing for a second. Where is Jalen Wright after this amazing start? After the game, Heupel says that the term he used was nicked up down the stretch. So gonna assume that it's not a serious injury, but that something was holding him out of being as effective as those other 2 backs. Well, he kind of passed the torch to Dylan Sampson, who was crucial in those last 2 drives of the game, picks up a big third down before he finds the end zone on the next play to give Tennessee kind of a lengthen its lead to that 2-possession mark that was so critical. And then at the end of the game, they just ride him down the field, run out the clock, and Dylan Sampson came through, didn't reach the 100-yard mark. I think he was somewhere in the 70s off the top of my head on, I think, 17 carries. So an effective game from Dylan Sampson, as well as his sophomore campaign continues to be really impressive. Kind of saw the glimpses of that in the opener against Virginia, and he's continued to turn heads. So let's flip it to the defensive side of the ball, though. What was your takeaway?
Yeah, we wrote it about it this week. You just talked about Tennessee's run game. We knew these were 2 run-heavy offenses that would rely on it. Obviously, Kentucky, I know you'll get to that in a minute, what they were able to do in the passing game, but Tennessee made their run game ineffective. And these 2 defenses came to this game as 2 of the top run defenses in the SEC, and Tennessee handled it really well. Ray Davis was not really much of a factor in the game. I know he did have a touchdown, had a couple of good runs there in the first half, but overall, Tennessee did a good job of taking out Kentucky's best player. And on a night where they were able to, eat up some yards with the throwing the ball and all of that, taking him out was huge for Tennessee in this game, and really good to see that they were able to eliminate that threat.
Yeah, obviously, the concern was how are you going to stop Ray Davis, and it ended up being Devin Leary that was doing all of the damage. Easily his best game as a Kentucky Wildcat transferring from NC State. It reminded me of what Graham Mertz did in that Florida game, where both of these guys transfer into the SEC, didn't necessarily get off to the best start, maybe didn't reach high expectations. And then against Tennessee, they just shatter it all. And Devin Leary, I mean, what a performance from him. And it all kind of revolved around Tennessee's pass rush not being able to get to him. He had a lot of time in the pocket. Secondary was playing pretty soft coverage. And the results of that with all that time was Devin Leary throwing for well over 300 yards. Easily his best mark in SEC play. Just absolutely, seriously, not even close to his best performance as a Kentucky Wildcat. We'll see if he can kind of grow off of this himself, but Tennessee's got to improve in the pass game, and you have a game against UConn to kind of reset yourself. UConn not good at all this year, so you have that chance to kind of work on yourself, figure out what's working, what's not working before you hit the road again. Play Missouri, a team that's playing really, really good football right now, and you're going to have to take that next step in order to get that second road win of the year after they got this first one right here. Before we wrap things up, I want to give a shout out to Charles Campbell as well, kicker transfer from Indiana, 4 for 4 on field goals tonight. Came through when he was called upon, whether it was the short range ones, whether he was backing up towards the 50-yard mark. He was automatic. Last field goal kind of banked it in off the upright, but 3 points is 3 points, so Tennessee's not going to complain. And Josh Heupel and Joe Milton have a lot of good things to say about what he was able to do. So Charles Campbell, a pivotal piece of the win tonight. That'll do it all from us here at Kroger Field, though. Make sure you head over to VolReport.com for all of our content on this game as we kind of tie the loose knots on this and move forward into next week, and basketball season on the horizon as well. Tennessee men's basketball scrimmaging with Michigan State tomorrow in East Lansing. So if you want all the details on how that goes ahead of basketball season, make sure to head over to VolReport.com. Links to everything you need is in the description, and thank you for watching.